And it is wonderful to see all our patients who have come all the way from different parts of not just the city but also from outside to just participate in this very important, momentous occasion of the International Epilepsy Day, which is going to fall on the 10th of February of 2025. Every second Monday of February, the World Health Organization has declared the second Monday of every February since 2022 as the International Day of Epilepsy, just to raise awareness and to ensure that the myths regarding India alone has got nearly 15 million people with epilepsy. 15 million. 15 million people with epilepsy. But the good news is that 70% of 15 million people can lead normal lives. That is the beauty of this. But there is always a fear among the public in the social circles that somebody who has got epilepsy means, it's tough. It is difficult to treat. Because epilepsy is a very visible condition. Suddenly they become blank and they may fall down, they may have these big jerks. And it's a very frightening disorder. Anybody who watches a child or an adult with epilepsy, with a seizure, they get afraid. Very difficult, very emotional. Then what happens is if a child or an adult or whoever it is has a fall and then has a jerk, seizure, the whole family gets upset. That's the first thing. Second thing what happens is they start getting protected. Don't do this. Don't go out alone. Most activities which normally are taken for granted, that comes to a stop. Everybody in the family, there will be only one person who has had the seizure, but every member in that family gets affected. That is the problem with epilepsy. That is the problem. Whereas somebody may have hypertension, blood pressure ரொம்ப ஹையா இருக்கும், sugar வந்து 350, 400 இருக்கும், வெளியில ஒன்றும் தெரியாது. அதுவும் equally dangerous. But as வெளியில nobody is bothered. எனக்கு hypertension யாருக்கு? Because it's not visible outside. Epilepsy அப்படி கிடையாது. One single fall is enough to change the dynamics of that family. That is the problem. If a child has a seizure in school, the class teacher gets affected, they get very afraid. Other students get, something is happening. What the school does is, take your child home, tell the parents, cure this boy and then only come. That's all, finished. What it means, they don't know. That is the problem. So there's a lot of stigma associated with this. A girl who gets seizure, epilepsy, very difficult for them to find a match, a groom, or the other way around, a boy with epilepsy, difficult to find a girl. Because they find, you have epilepsy, so you should not get married. All that kind of thing. And if a child gets a seizure, getting to school, then after that getting employed, getting married, then they get worried whether my child will develop epilepsy. So there are so many things, and then there is a lot of myth that if I have epilepsy, my child will also have epilepsy. So that is another problem. Some people think that epilepsy is a mental disease. Absolutely no. So what we have done is that if you see that the figures, 70%, as Dr. Lakshmanan told very nicely, 70% of epilepsies can be controlled, cured by just medicine. That's it. One medicine, maximum 2 medicines, they become all right. Many of our patients here are like that. They lead normal lives. They can lead completely normal lives within the parameters. 30% of patients, unfortunately, they don't respond to medicine, whatever be the medicine. Now, such patients, with this teamwork, you can identify many of these patients who have very difficult to control epilepsy. Every day they have seizures, or every week they have seizures, and their quality of life is affected. But then, if you identify some structural abnormality in the brain and find out that the seizure is actually coming from there, then we can operate. and then they become cured. See, from uncontrolled epilepsy to cured epilepsy, can you imagine the jump, the paradigm jump? Many of our patients who have come here are like that. So they have successfully overcome epilepsy. And many patients who have come here today, they also have become normal just being on one medicine or two medicines. They're leading absolutely normal lives. Many of the women with epilepsy here, they have got married, they have got children, they are normal. So what we are trying to tell is that you can lead normal lives despite the most difficult epilepsies. And most of the epilepsies, fortunately, are simple epilepsies, and they get controlled and cured quite easily. So one should remove this myth that epilepsy is a very difficult condition, that once you have epilepsy, then for a lifetime, you're doomed to suffer. That's not at all true. And when I came here, in 2010, we did the first epilepsy surgery in this hospital. We were a small team of people, and over the last 15 years, 14 years now, 14 and a half, we have operated more than 500 operations for patients. A huge number, it's not a small number, but for every operation, the number of hours that we put to plan one operation, we have to invest at least 50 to 60 hours of our time for one planning. If you do it for 500 times, then you can imagine the number of hours that we have to dedicate to, and that requires a lot of teamwork. And fortunately, we have a very nice team, and that team is not just the doctors and but everybody else. There's a huge teamwork that is required. So this program is meant for sharing the patients who have overcome epilepsy, or they have got seizures, well controlled, and they're leading normal lives. We want to hear your stories. We have told our story, but we are more interested in knowing how you have overcome, because you are the people who have had the seizures. We have the opportunity to help you out and come out of that, and then you have achieved seizure freedom. And let us celebrate your lives. Thank you very much.